Hello, Sagittarius. Let's ring the bell of hope. And we rang it over our spell jar, which is set up to unlock all of the magical things: prosperity, abundance, love, all of the things, Sag. Luck. So I decided to do a love reading. So if you're not into love, and that's perfectly okay if you're not looking for something, then maybe you wouldn't be interested in this, because this, I really call to people who are interested in this. And I called to see who this reading would be for specifically. So this is for those who are window, a new adventure in love is coming, who are either involved in a new relationship or looking for new love. So if you're looking to reaffirm with someone from the past, no judgment, right? This wouldn't be for you. Okay. I said what I said. Let's get on with it, because I love this whole new love thing. So it's interesting because the love that is coming your way, there seems to be something here in terms of sacrifice. And, relationships always do. I mean, there always is some sacrifice. Sometimes it's just, we have to give up some of our independence, not all of it. But it's really interesting because what also came out is that this is happening very quickly, and to be very careful about not losing yourself. And what was on the bottom was individuality, trust, and charisma. And I feel like I do think that it's possible that this starts off as a long distance thing here. And that's difficult, right? But I also feel like maybe in the past you have gotten into relationships that kind of demanded that you kind of push down your light a little bit. And by light, I mean it's the specific things that make us who we are, right? And you may have felt as if, because Sagittarians specifically are very much individuals. Like, we need to really be us, and sometimes in relationships, and even in, our familial relationships and such, we will, quiet it down a little bit. And, maybe you have felt like you have given away parts of yourself and not totally been your own person in relationships. And that really stinks, because let me just say that what I've learned the most through relationships is that you can be together and be together a lot of the time, but you also have to have your own stuff. And I feel like, this may make you wary when it comes to relationships. Like, do you have to give up being your own person? And in this case, the answer is no. This person actually really loves that part of you. Like, what you as your own person bring to the table. They really love that. And they're really drawn to that. So, no, you don't have to give this up. And you can trust that. You can trust that. So, I love that about this. Stop it. And how it's affecting you is, it's just like, I feel like when you meet this person, or when get started with this person, it's going to feel like everything's right. Like, this is it's the right time for something committed. It says wedding, but this is really about taking your relationship to the next level. Like, you may be, or find at, this time in your life that it's the right time for this. Okay. Because, a lot of times we do think like perfect time, although I don't believe that that ever happens. But so in the bottom, we have the Two of Cups, yes. The Three of Swords, the Six of Pentacles, the High Priestess, and the Wheel of Fortune. Wait, what? And the Six of Swords here. So I feel like this relationship is really leading you to um maybe let go of some pain in your heart, honestly, with the Three of Swords, and really, like, it's what you kept in your heart of hearts, maybe in your hidden hearts, the belief that there are people who want to give and receive in love. And wow, yeah, this is so beautiful. Because the Wheel of Fortune, this is really, really positive, Sag. Like, and you're not expecting this at all. Okay. So, also with the High Priestess, you might hold back a little bit because you want to make sure that this isn't too good to be true. So, let's take a look at some of these energies. Oh my gosh. I have never, ever in my time seen such a positive love reading for Sagittarius. Usually we are, the people that come our way can be, they got problems, they got stuff to do, they got. But wow, it's like, this is beautiful. So we're going to see more. We're going to clarify a little bit. For sure, for sure. Wow. Like, you really are, like, something about this really gives you a new perspective on things, and possibly even, the things you've lost, because it's very interesting with the Hangman, the Five of Cups, and the Death card. That could be talking about your sacrifice, and it's really, really beautiful because you're letting go. Okay, so tell me about this new adventure in love. New adventure in love for Sagittarius. Yeah. Skirt. Okay. Might be. I definitely, this does feel like an adventure. It does feel like there's some travel involved. And whenever I see the Six of Swords, I automatically think about time, right? And there's definitely an element of distance here, which means ultimately this relationship could involve moving in some way. In some way, Sag. Or you could meet this person while you're traveling. Why are all those travel cards there, Spirit? What's with all the travel? What's with all the travel? What's with all the travel? So we did see that this could involve moving or movement. And it does feel like that is entirely possible. with the Seven of Cups, it is a choice, and it can be a confusing choice, right? With the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles in this deck can refer to two different actions, or some sort of compromise that's unusual may be called for. I do feel, though, like it's that part of things might be a little difficult, especially with the fives being here, because though because there's distance here, that always means that somebody will have to move at some point. Because long distance really doesn't work long term, right? And it's just, I mean, how do we make this happen? And that may be the hard part of this relationship, the confusing part, because that can be because of money, because of obligations, and it really kind of causes a downer in the relationship, and maybe even kind of a distrust, like not a distrust between the two of you, but just a distrust in whether or not it can work. But there's a light here, which involves either receiving money with the Eight of Pentacles or a new job, something like that. This is like really putting the effort into figuring something out, brings in an opportunity, a really great opportunity, honestly. Okay, wow. So don't, when you feel like this is a problem, don't feel like it's a problem, okay? Don't feel like it's a problem. So what is this sacrifice Sagittarius has to make for this relationship? What is the sacrifice? I kind of feel too like when the time is right, everything's going to work out. And now that I've seen that moving, it makes all of this divine timing seem way more clear, and really tell you that, at the right time it will work. What's the sacrifice? What's the sacrifice? Like, how would you know that card was reversed? Just saying. It looks the same both ways, I guess. So, what's the sacrifice? Oh, okay, a lot of unknowns here. And this also has to do with the move. But it does work out, Sag. That's what you need to know here. It does work out, even though maybe you can't see that right now. Like, because with the Seven of Swords on the bottom, the Devil, and the Queen of Pentacles, it might just take a little bit longer than you want, but it does work out. So we're seeing the Ten of Wands, the Moon, the High Priestess, and the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles is on its side, okay? So that kind of tells you there is a certain amount of limbo of how to make things work. But I do feel like you and this person, there's never seems to be this point where you're separate in your goal, right? It's not like one person is doing more or anything. The whole problem seems to be the distance. So the problem really isn't even the relationship. It's really just, how do we make this work because of the distance, and who's going to move, and how does it come together when there does seem to be some sort of struggle when it comes to money as well. But with the Ten of Wands, And the moon and the high priestess, that is, you know, this is saying what you have to sacrifice. And really, you have to sacrifice this knowing. So it's going to take a while to figure out how to make this work. And so I feel like what you need to sacrifice is giving up, or even thinking, even though the feelings come in quickly, everything else is not, right? And there's a certain amount of limbo here. Oh my gosh, but look at this. But we have the 10 of Cups. Like, you do get your happily ever after here. It does work out in the end. 6 of Pentacles. And the 3 of Swords reversed. So the problem definitely is overcome. And if the problem is resources, there is help that's coming here for sure. Wow, Sagittarius, I've never honestly seen anything so beautiful in a love reading for you. Now, I admit, I don't see a lot of the other person in the cards, so let's take a look and see how the other person feels. Show me the other person. I just basically see the relationship in general. It doesn't feel like there is something making you lose feelings here. I don't feel that. So let's look at the other person. 3 of Pentacles. 2 of Wands. Like, they're determined for this to happen. And they may really be working on things to make it happen. Maybe they're even working more. So show me the other person. Four of Pentacles. Reversed. Interesting. Show me the other person. Moon. And the 6 of Wands. I feel like the other person is very gung-ho in this situation. Even though there definitely is an issue with money, this person doesn't hold back. Like, Ace of Wands, let's move this forward. I don't know how we're going to move it forward, but let's move it forward. Let's do this. Yeah. 6 of Swords. The High Priestess. And you're like, how? Or let's take our time, and that may be because you're not ready to move, or maybe you don't want to move here. Okay, so let's take a look at an end result. What is the end result? Who is moving? That seems to be like the issue. What is the end result here? Okay. 2 of Cups. We're going to come together. Ace of Wands. The Ace of Swords. The Knight of Cups. And the Page of Swords. I feel like your person here, you might feel like they're a little bit delusional. Knight of Cups. They're head in the clouds, but they're not. They're going to figure out how to make this happen. So who is moving here? Who is moving? 2 of Wands. Who is moving? Who is moving? Jeez Louise. card. I mean, it does seem like there's a lot we have to figure out in order for anyone to move. You know? And there's something like, I feel like all along your person is trying to figure out how. But I do think you come together in the meantime. So I don't feel like, ultimately one person does have to move. Right? One person does. But I don't feel as if you don't see this person in the meantime. I feel like you do. It just might take some time to figure out how to make the move happen. Like how to overcome the challenges in terms of a move. But this person feels very passionately about you. So it doesn't really, it's not telling me who's making the move, Sag. I kind of feel like it's the other person, to be honest with you. So, what are our final words here? Final words. Oh, hang in there. Ooh. Okay, by the Five of Cups. Okay, it's really talking about this move. Sag. So, and the Queen of Pentacles is grounded. That's what makes me think your person is moving. And I mean, this is going to happen, and there are challenges that will be overcome, right? Strength in the Ten of Cups. Ultimately, everything does work out. There might be a loss here. Tell me about the Five of Money. Tell me about the Five of Cups, please. The Knight of Clubs, meaning the Knight of Wands. Just really interesting with the Queen of Pentacles. I mean, I feel like, Sag, you're very afraid of losing stability here. And I do really feel like part of the problem is you don't want to be the one to move. Because you have fought so hard for the stability that you have. And they might be a little younger than you, and that might be of a concern too. And I also feel like on some level, this person's seriousness, like they could come off to you like they're not that serious, because I see a lot of Ace of Wands, Knight of Wands, but I just don't see that. I see this person wants to make things happen. So is this person serious about Sagittarius? Are they serious about Sag? The Tower. Oh boy. The Knight of Swords. The Ten of Swords. The World. Is this person serious? Interesting. Yeah, because I feel like they're giving up a lot to be with you. So I definitely feel as if this person may be the one moving. I do. Okay, Sag. I feel like the cards aren't giving me anymore. So that's what I have for you. That's where the love is. Talk to you soon. Toodles.